How are you, Africa? Welcome to Pan-Africanism Through Poetry with Moses Tofa. Today's poem is titled, Africa, Racism Cannot Be Fought with Placards. Africa, I cannot bear the agony of seeing and hearing that in the 21st century, you are still fighting to convince your fellow human beings that your blackness is not a creational disaster, that you are also created of human material, that you are also created in the image of God, that your life equally matters, and that you deserve to be treated with dignity. Africa, I am afraid to tell you that supremacists will never listen to you. They will continue to animalize your blackness. History has taught you over and over again that supremacism is extremely arrogant, that its diabolical conscience is seared with a hot iron, and that it never listens to words without swords. Africa, you are the richest continent in the world, but you are the most disrespected one. Your people are disrespected abroad, and they are disrespected at home. They have no place to hide from racist missiles. Africa, you are the only continent that uses placards to demand respect from other civilizations. You are the only continent that uses protests to fight against racism. The truth is that respect is never won through placards. Africa, you must always confront this brutal truth, that racism does not dwell in the whiteness of racists or in how disdainful they treat blackness, but in the juxtaposition of racial privilege with racial wretchedness. It is this juxtaposing edifice that must be completely dismantled because it is the lifeblood of racism. Africa, racism is a state of mind that dwells in a racist state of the economy. The fight against racism must therefore be aimed at the racist economy, not at the racist mind. It is the economic line that divides whiteness from blackness that must be erased. Africa, there is no other way of fighting against racism except to empower yourself to at least the point of parity with racists. But for this empowerment to come to you, you must fight a revolutionary fight. It is tragic that so far you have fought a lame fight against racism. Africa, as long as you remain at the bottom of the mountain, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you swim in the sea of righteousness, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as imperialism loots your treasury, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you remain the hewers of wood and drawers of water, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you are the senders of proposals and recipient of grants, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you are incapable of competing with other civilizations, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as other civilizations believe that you are a scar that cannot heal itself, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you subcontract the responsibility to build yourself, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you remain a dumping site, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you do not own the platforms and technology that you use, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you are incapable of uniting and moving in one direction, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as your young people perish in the Mediterranean Sea, seeking to depart, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as your young people queue at the embassies of other nations, seeking to depart, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as your young people play lottery to become citizens of other nations, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you think as far as the next election and not as far as the next generations. The assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you are in the hands of honorables that are not honorable, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you are a prisoner of inferiority complex, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you hate your Africanness, the assault on blackness will not cease. As long as you aspire to be emptied of everything African and be repackaged with everything Western, the assault on blackness will not cease. Africa, there is no civilization, either in this age or in the age to come, that respects a people who are standing on the pinnacle of natural endowment but scramble for crumbs from other civilizations. Africa, respect is an inside dweller. It is the respect that dwells in you that tells others to respect you. It is the internal reality that gives inviolate commandments to the external reality. If you are internally superior, you have no need to tell other people to respect you. If respect dwells within you, you have no need to tell other people to respect you. But if you are inferior internally, it is futile for you to tell other people to respect you. If there is no respect that dwells within you, it is futile for you to tell other people to respect you. Africa, racism is not fought through words without swords. Racism is not won through placards. Thank you, Africa. This is Moses Tofa, Pan-Africanism Through Poetry. Inspiring Africa, raising consciousness. Amandla!